Hey guys, I'm with the 2024 Nissan Sentra. I reviewed it actually earlier this year, and I wanted to make a return review because prices are dropping on this vehicle, which is super important in today's market with high interest rates, with inflation running rampant. We have a very affordable car. Prices are dropping at the dealership, so let's review this very fuel efficient and affordable Nissan Sentra. Lifting up the hood of the Sentra, the SR grade here, we have a little Nissan badge at the top of this 2-liter engine. 149 horsepower, around the same amount of torque. I want to say it's around 147 pound-feet of torque. Made it to a CVT. We'll talk more about how this performs here in a little bit. That battery looks enormous underneath. It almost looks the same size as the engine underneath here. But we should be getting about 30 miles per gallon in town and around 40 miles per gallon if you're able to milk this thing on the highway going about 70 miles an hour. This thing is going to be very fuel efficient. Dropping the hood here. And the SR is the most sporty of the lineup. There's a base S grade, which you can get right now. I want to say I've seen prices around 17 grand. Then there's the mid grade, the SV. This is the top line, the SR. Which again, prices are dropping on this right now at the time of this recording. So it's a great buy regardless of trim level. This one being the SR with the orange accent, looks nice with the blue, with the contrast, the blacked out grille, the newer Nissan logo on there for 2024. They revised the front bumper. SR grade here being kind of a dark chrome. This vertical piece is new for 24 as well. We have updated daytime running lights and headlight capsules there. These 5-spoke glossy black wheels here on the SR, they are 18-inch. They are going to sap fuel economy just a bit. So if all you care about is fuel economy, cheap, get the base S grade and you'll get a little bit better fuel economy of those 16-inch wheels. I like the two-tone paint here. When I reviewed it earlier this year, it had the orange paint color, but it looks nice in this blue two-tone as well. And I think the SR badges look nicer, of course, with this blue than it does with the orange. Newer Nissan logo on the back here. We have this little lip spoiler as well. Look at this nice exhaust tip back there. Now it's not going to make this vehicle sound great, but it looks good. So well done, Nissan. So let's get into the trunk here. Plenty of trunk space. You can fold the seats down in kind of like a 60-40. Do we have a spare tire? Yes, we do. So even luxury cars that cost twice as much of this, sometimes they don't have a spare tire because they're on run flats. I've been taking my kids to some activities this week in this car, so that's why we see 3 booster seats across. But this is, of course, the SR is going to have nice leather seats here with the orange stitching on the accent, even here in the back. Plastic up here, but right below that plastic is more leather or leatherette with orange stitching. It's pretty nice, to be honest. So go ahead and close the door. Headroom, it's actually no problem here at 6'1". Legroom sitting behind myself, no problem. Again, lots of legroom even behind the seat setup for me. No vent back here. At least we have one USB-A to share amongst the 3 kids when they were back here, but one mat pocket as well. Pretty basic back seat, but it is super comfortable with these leather seats. Door doesn't sound premium by any means, but what are you expecting? This car can be had for a little over $20,000 in this SR grade. We do a smart key access here, which is nice. Getting in, the materials on the top of the door much nicer here. Blind spot monitor is standard on all grades. Orange stitching and leather material on the door. Just automatic window on the driver's side. Bose sound system on this SR grade, and it can be had with a 360 camera. So you can see the top-down view here. Awesome. That's very hard to find in competitors. What's also awesome is just this area right here. There's no learning curve. It's just, here's volume, here's tuning, here are the buttons for basic navigation to get in and out of software from the base software of Nissan into your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which I believe it's wired only. And we do have USB-A and USB-C down here, as well as an aux port and a 12-volt. You also have auto stop start, which is new for 2024. I've been running the AC in here mostly, so I haven't really noticed it kicking on and off because the engine is needed for that AC. Fan control here, look how simple this is. Yes, I have automatic, and I also have dual zone climate control, which I think is standard on the SV grade. I also have heated steering wheel, heated seats going on. Of course, I haven't been needing that. It's 80 degrees here at 8 in the morning. All right, this is a 8-inch screen, which is optional. I believe there's a 7-inch screen as well. But yeah, I mean, it works perfectly for my needs. and it's easy to get to. Check this out, right off the steering wheel, there's the volume knob, there's the touchscreen. Traditional shifter here, there's a start-stop engine button, big cup holders, big space here for your belongings. There's my suction mount for the sunroof, which is of course I think standard on this SR grade, but it is optional on the lower grades. And we have a flat bottom steering wheel here on the SR grade, and I love this orange stitching. It's very well done, this baseball stitching. It's pretty much perfect, honestly. I don't see any defects. I don't know why more manufacturers just don't do the baseball stitching. It seems to be an easier stitch. It looks beautiful. And so many manufacturers will do the crisscross stitching, which is much harder to perfect, and it's easy to see the imperfections in it. Baseball stitching, Nissan seems to figure out that that's the way to go. Tachometer is analog, speedometer is analog, but you can put some more information on the screen here. Here's a digital speedometer, for example. I've been idling here. I just reset and been idling, so of course the fuel economy is going to look terrible. I'm not going to do a fuel economy test. You should be able to get easily over 30 miles per gallon in and around town, especially on the highways. You shouldn't have any problems getting well over 35 miles per gallon here. I like the stitching and the soft touch. Well, of course not over the dome, but it's soft touch behind and around the center screen. Nice stitching on the dash. So I'm ready to start driving the very affordable Nissan Sentra. It's a perfect car for the market right now. I forgot to show you guys the leather seats up front. I showed you the ones in the back, but super comfortable. I love these seats, probably one of the best in the class, honestly. They call these the zero gravity, kind of maybe taking some of that NASA technology. Regardless of what they're called and whatever technology they're using, they're super soft, very comfortable, and they do provide a good amount of support here with this bolstering. And I have long legs, and that's not stopping this vehicle's seats from being comfortable for people who have lengthy legs. So let's go ahead and put this into drive and start rolling out in the Nissan Sentra. Now, on paper, it is down compared to its competitors when it comes to just raw horsepower. It's down 20 horsepower to something like the Corolla in front of us, which comes also with a 2-liter engine. But when you're driving these vehicles like the Civic with the base engine, which I actually haven't done, or the Corolla, like they all just feel slow to me. It doesn't matter if one has 155 or one has 169, they all feel really slow to me. I think the difference maker is going to be the transmission. And they have improved, I think they call it the Xtronic CVT here for 2024. So I just put it into kind of the sporty mode. There's a little button on the shifter. It's not fast. It mimics actual shifts, which I don't necessarily remember Nissan's doing that, but it sounds a lot better than Subaru CVT or Honda CVT or even Toyota CVT, which tend to just hold a specific RPM and just let it ride, and it sounds really drony. Not here. It mimics shifts quite well. It's super responsive, so if I need that power to pass someone, pedal down, and it just goes. Now, I would say it's pretty class competitive with the amount of wind noise I'm getting. I'm not getting surprisingly, I'm not getting a lot of tire or road noise here. I'm going about 55 miles an hour. It's very, very smooth, I would say, even with the 18s. Ride quality is good for the class. And I don't get any weird vibrations coming through the steering wheel or through the pedals. Like, it feels pretty refined overall for a riding experience. I don't have a lot of turns here in Florida, but I'll throw around the turn and tell you what I think about it. Because I got a green light here, I should be able to carry some speed into this turn. The brakes though, because I'm gonna have to get in the brakes are quite good. Very linear and predictive. That's all I'm asking for. Throwing in the turn though, power's out of the turn, great. It is noisy when your foot is buried, but if your foot is not buried, it's really, really quiet. So the handling's fine. I would say it feels more confident in the turns than maybe the Corolla. The steering doesn't feel quite as connected as, let's say, an Elantra or a Civic, but I mean, I have an independent rear in the back, which kind of helps with it feeling a little bit more planted. That's something that the Mazda has, a torsion beam in the back. The Mazda is still more fun to drive than this, but this is no slouch. You just have no go when you want to go. It's responsive. It's saying, hey, I know you want to party, but hey, I prefer this transmission actually over, let's say, Subaru's transmission that is very responsive as well, their CVT, but it's just kind of, those cars just kind of hold that, like I said, that RPM, and it's just really drony and not very exciting in any sort of way. I at least give this an A for effort to try to make it more engaging as a CVT. Yeah, look, I can pass a Mustang GT, a 5.0. They had no idea this Sentra was faster. So let's talk about just my final impressions of this Nissan. Crazy amounts of value for the money. It's a great lease car for sure. I don't really like this van next to me, so I'm going to slow down. The van's just so ugly. With the huge discounts on this vehicle, hey, I think it's one of the best buys on the market. The market's kind of strapped for cash. It's strapped with affordability right now, with everything getting more expensive. This vehicle is being discounted quite heavily by the dealers, and then you might have some Nissan incentives on top of that, whether it's a lease incentive or a cash incentive or a financing incentive. This vehicle, I mean, is a complete steal compared to a lot of its competition. I haven't looked lately, but I know that there's no way you're going to be able to find a Civic or Corolla for under $20,000 on the market. And here we have this Sentra, which is not better than any of the competition necessarily in any regard, but it's not terrible against the competition in any regard. It's just very vanilla. But what I would say is I like the styling better here, and that goes a long ways. I think the styling here is better than, let's say, the Corolla and even the Elantra right now. I think the Elantra kind of got that unibrow styling with the refresh, and it looks okay, but I like how the Sentra looks over it. So there are deals to be had right now on the Sentra with the big discounts, and that's exactly what is needed in the current landscape in the market. And rest in peace, a former competitor to this vehicle. The Forte is it's getting replaced by the K4, which I haven't driven. I don't think anyone's driven the new K4 yet, which I could add some additional spice into this segment. But we need cheap cars on the market right now, and Nissan is being able to deliver that with good materials, good comfort, good styling, good technology, and good features for incredible value with low prices and discounted prices right now. So, but let me know if you agree with this. This isn't necessarily the car that America wants right now, but with how good of a deal you can get on it, it's definitely the car America needs. It's kind of like that Batman slogan or that Batman quote. The Sentra being the Dark Knight for us right now, being the car to save us in these very high-priced times with good standard safety equipment. For example, like I hadn't even mentioned radar cruise control and blind spot monitor a whole lot. So well done, Nissan. And yeah, guys, go ahead and snag a Sentra if you need a bargain basement monthly lease price or financing price, because this thing is going to treat you really, really nicely, I think, in the near term. I can't speak for long-term reliability, but for the near term, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, it's responsive, has everything I'm really looking for in a compact sedan.